NCIS is preparing for its 20th season, and in that time we've seen a number of beloved characters come and go. In this episode, we'll take a quick look at what characters they need to bring back, either for short stints or as central characters going forward. This procedural drama has been one of the most watched on television in the last 2 decades, and the show is undoubtedly looking for new characters to give the show a fresh twist for the future, but also maintain their older audience who's been with them since the beginning. That's why we feel these character reprisals are the best way to keep everyone engaged going forward. We have to mention it. Mark Harmon as Gibbs. Sure, it's only been the better part of a season since Leroy Jethro Gibbs ran off into the sunset, or rather boated off into the river, but that doesn't mean he can't come back for any number of reasons. Not only has Harmon been the show's biggest star for the past 20 years, but he's also been an executive producer for the majority of that time as well. Even though he's not part of the cast, he's kept that behind-the-scenes role to help guide the future of the show. This isn't to say that he needs to reprise his role as the show's central character. I'm sure both Harmon and the showrunners are ready for something new to hopefully generate new life and new audience into one of the longest-running shows on television. But it would make sense for him to return in the occasional guest spot to serve as that guiding light for the team, or just to aid Alden Parker as he struggles to win the team's heart. Showrunner Stephen Binder has been open about the possibility of a return, saying there's always headspace for him to come back. It just has to be the right story, I think, to get him excited about it and to get us excited about it. It's a card to play, and I don't think we want to play it cheaply. I think when we do play it, it really needs to be the right thing. What about fan favorite Pauley Perrette as Abby Shuto? Pauley Perrette left the show under fairly suspicious circumstances back in 2018. She was one of the most beloved characters for 15 years. The clash between her gothic dress sense and eternally perky attitude endeared her to millions, but after an assassination attempt that left MI6 member Clayton Reeves dead, Abby decided it was time to retire. A few things are standing in the way of a full return for Pauley, mainly the introduction of Casey Hines as the new forensic scientist in the lab. Although Hines has very much been a one-dimensional character for a majority of her time on the show, the writers seem to be delving a bit deeper into what makes her tick, including the death of her father a few years back and her new relationship with Piper, one of the lab techs from the Navy Yard. It doesn't feel like Casey is going anywhere anytime soon, but that still shouldn't stand in the way of a few guest spots. However, something that could stand in the way from her making a return is her reportedly sour relationship with Mark Harmon. Like we said, Harmon is still a central figure at NCIS behind the scenes, so if there's any bad blood between them still, that might just be the end of Abby. According to reports, they got into a number of fights after Harmon brought his dog to the set, and it ended up biting a crew member and leaving him with 18 stitches. After that, Harmon continued bringing his dog to the set despite obvious concerns from cast and crew. Perrette felt he was abusing his power as the show's biggest star, but Harmon and his lawyers claimed the dog was only in his trailer or on a leash while on set after the incident. So while the path to getting Pauley to reprise her role might seem about as straightforward as the Overlook Hotel's hedge maze, Harmon's departure from the day-to-day operations leaves the door open just a sliver for his fan favorite to make a return. There's also Jennifer Esposito as Alexandra Quinn. Even though newer fans may not have ever heard of Quinn, Jennifer Esposito was, at one time, thought to be the next big star on the show, especially since she came right after OG Tony DiNozzo, played by Michael Weatherly, departed the year before. Her introduction in season 14 had a lot of promise for her character as the new member of the Major Crimes Response Team. She had great chemistry with Harmon and the whole cast in general, but was unexpectedly written off the show at the end of her first season. Esposito's exit from the show never felt right. Reports are that her character was the brainchild of showrunner Gary Glassberg, but after his untimely death in 2016, the creative team abandoned what he started and decided to head in another direction. Her character's departure felt unnatural, like, okay, which writer did she chew out on set for not giving her enough lines type of departure, and we never fully got to see what she was capable of. Without Harmon, the show could greatly benefit from bringing a character and actor of her caliber back to set. Esposito reportedly left the show on good terms with the cast and producers, so it's really just a matter of them finding a space for her to do it. And of course, Michael Weatherly as Tony DiNozzo. Michael Weatherly, along with Harmon, is one of the few actors to leave the show on their own terms. After playing Tony for 13 seasons from the show's onset, Michael was feeling bored with the character and wanted to pursue other projects. One of the major reasons he lost his love for the show was he lost his love in the show. DiNozzo missed the on-screen chemistry between him and Ziva David, played by Cote DePablo, after she was written off the show. Canonically, the two are still together living in Paris, so reprisals for both would be easy for the writers to work in. It's just a matter of want for Weatherly. After leaving NCIS, Weatherly won the job to star in CBS's unconventional courtroom drama Bull. The show ran for 6 seasons, but the plug was very recently pulled on it, with the last episode airing on May 22nd of this year. This obviously frees Weatherly up for that potential return, and the timing could not be better together after Harmon's exit. But can the writers whip up an interesting enough storyline to entice him back? That remains to be seen, but hopefully we'll get some more information in the coming weeks as Season 20 inches closer to its release. Okay, so what can we expect from Season 20? Season 20 of NCIS is right around the corner, and fans are dying to learn what exactly the show has in store for them. This will be the first full season without Harmon, barring a cameo, so they'll be looking to pull out all the stops to prove that the show is bigger than its biggest star. Outside of Harmon, all the main cast will be back. Gary Cole as Alden Parker, Wilmer Valderrama as Nick Torres, Sean Murray as Tim McGee, Katrina Law as Jessica Knight, and the list goes on. Showrunner Stephen Binder indicated that the newest season will be more character-driven than seasons past. Everybody loves the ingenious way they can crack a case, but at the end of the day, it's the characters people care about most. So expect more interpersonal drama in Season 20 than what you're used to. As for the biggest Season 19 cliffhanger, we know that Terry Polo, the actress playing Alden's ex-wife, Vivian Kolchak, who may or may not be framing him for murder, is set to be a bigger part of the season, so don't expect that storyline to be wrapped up in the first episode. It's not clear what Vivian's plans are for Parker now that the two are on the run together, but it does seem like her intentions are insidious to say the least. We know the two had a relatively happy marriage, but we don't know all that much about their time together, or what her work entailed with the FBI outside of UFO investigating. What we do know is that this crisis will bring the team closer than they have ever been. They're all putting their careers and lives on the line to help Alden, much like they've done with their previous boss, even though they haven't developed deeper bonds just yet. So it'll be exciting to see just how these dynamics grow and change over the course of the 20th season. So what do you think? Surely we left off a couple of characters who'd make for amazing reprisals. Who makes the most sense to get their return in Season 20? And is Vivian actually out to set up Parker, or do you think she's trying to help him?